Howdy guys, welcome back to the Form First podcast. You are joined by your hosts Sam and Ben. How are you, mate?
I'm well, thank you. How are you, mate?
I'm coasting. I'm good. Good for a Wednesday hump day.
Let's go.
Doing well. We're gonna kick this off without the motivator of the week this week. We'll surely be back with that next week with our guest.
Yes.
That's a little sneak peek into the next episode.
Yes, we have our first guest on the podcast.
Yeah. See how that goes.
Yeah, we have only had practice talking to each other, so it could be shambles or it could work out to be fantastic.
Could be unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
good.
do you want to give him maybe a bit of a
Bit of a
hint?
teaser.
Yeah? Is there anything that you can give the listeners?
Yeah. We're gonna be bringing in a my podiatrist. He reached out to us and owns a podiatry clinic here in Adelaide, and really knows his stuff, and he's really keen to jump on and talk about the importance of strength and the importance of strength for runners and different things like that. So that'd be really good. But we're going to kick off today with progressive overload and a little crash course on the importance of that and how that keeps us going in the gym. So
Yes.
do you want to kick us off there?
Yeah, absolutely. Progressive overload is an extremely important part of hypertrophy, muscle building, and also muscle preservation as well in some instances. So basically, in order to grow muscle, we need to have an aspect of progressive overload. So getting stronger over time and also training at a close proximity to failure. What a lot of people, I think, get wrong with progressive overload is they just think it's adding more weight every single week.
Right.
But there's many different ways that you can progressive overload
Okay.
outside of just putting more weight on the bar.
Yep.
Right. So obviously more weight on the bar is number one. So, say for an example, if you're doing a hack squat and you're doing 8 to 10 reps and you've done all 3 sets at the top end of the rep range, then you're in a position where you can progressively overload and
Challenge
lift
yourself
some
a
more
bit.
load.
Yep.
Now, if you've been training for, a little while, or even if you've been training in the early days, you don't have to slap another 10 kilo total on top per side whenever you go up in your weight. You think about it like this. If you put a little 1.25 kilo plate per side, that's 2.5 kilos extra. If you do that over 10 reps, that's 25 kilos more than you lifted compared to last week.
And the total volume. Yeah.
You do that over 3 sets, that's 75 kilos more than you did last week.
And you'll feel it.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Right? So small little progressive overloads over time will compound into a larger progressive overload.
Yeah. And that plays into so many things in the gym. And other things that we'll get into later in this episode. But this is something that I'm having to educate my current client on, who I had just before this episode. And he's really keen. He's been going to the gym for a while and he's had different PTs throughout. And we've had to strip back a lot of his form and his things like that. But one thing he's really keen on is just smashing on the plates straight away. And he's... we're doing say for instance, like a hack squat or like a leg press or something like that. And he's, shaking on his 10th rep. And he's like, let's chuck on a 5 kilo plate each side.
Yeah.
I'm like, hear me out. Let's do, like you said, 1.25 each side, 2.5 each side. And he's almost not getting to that last rep. And that's something that I had to learn when we started again a year ago. So yeah, really good point.
Yeah. 100%. I had the same thing today with a client. We're doing a leg extension. 8 to 10 reps was the rep range. He was on 35 kilos. Right. He was in a position where 40 was too much.
Yeah.
But 35 was good, but 10 reps was not enough. He could do more. So what we did was we went above the rep range and we said, look, before we go up to 40, let's do another 2 reps at the same rep range. And we got out another 2 reps. So that's a great way to progressively overload via reps. And then next week, what he can do is he can go up to 40 kilos, but go back down in the rep range.
Yeah, absolutely. And would that count in a sense that, let's say I was doing machine leg extension and I was doing like that 8 to 10 kilos, would you say that progressive overload is, let's say we pick up the weight by 5 kilos, but then go down to 6 to 8 reps, or is that relatively the same?
Yeah, you can do that as a means of more weight, less reps in the short term,
Right.
with the long term goal of going up in the rep
In
range.
the reps.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So it wouldn't be progressive overload at that stage.
Yeah. Well, if you're talking about a total load
Yeah.
perspective, no, at
Yeah.
that point in time, you're just doing more load for less reps.
Just preparing your body for more.
Preparing for the higher rep range in the coming weeks. So it's a compounding effect. When you go up in the weight, it's almost like, you did lift more, but you did less total volume, which is not the most important driver for hypertrophy, by the way.
Yep.
But later on, you will reap the benefits of doing more total load once that rep range increases.
Yeah. And I think a thing that I have not only recently learnt, but something that was confusing to me, maybe for the beginners and intermediate lifters that are looking to make the next jump. When do you feel like a general, like global rule of thumb would be for people to then, let's say they've smashed out 10 reps 2 weeks in a row. And when is, a good amount of weeks in a row to then maybe start to challenge yourself for the next 2.5, 5 kilos?
Yeah, it's a good question because it depends on many factors, as every question does.
Yeah.
But I would say, as a general rule of thumb, if you're like a beginner intermediate lifter, which probably most people listening to this podcast are, if you've been on the same weight for a couple of weeks and it's starting to feel easier, then you're probably in a position where you can start to lift more reps or more weight on that exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess something I did today, and something that I would say definitely counts as progressive overload in my eyes, is that I've been doing, for instance, 37.5 kilos each hand for a flat dumbbell bench press. That's like my one workout a week that that's the one I look forward to see if I can progress. And today I went up to 40 kilos just for the first set.
Yep.
Right. Got to 5. My rep range is 4 to 6. Got to 5 reps and then went back down to 37.5s and repped those out for 6 and then another 5. So I was a bit more gassed. And so it doesn't even have to be that you go up in weight for the whole working set. You can go up for the one set, and if you're just gassed from that one, let's dial it back again and go back to what you were doing before.
Yep.
So something like that is something that you do for your clients as well.
For sure, yeah. Like we might start off with the heaviest set, and if a training program looks like 40 kilos, 37.5 and 37.5, that tells me that pushed to the limits but fatigued very quickly, and then you've got to drop back. If it's the other way around and it's 37.5, 37.5 and 40 on the last set, that tells me that the first 2 sets were probably a little bit light.
Yeah.
You should have increased up to 40 for all 3 sets.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we don't know. That's in hindsight. When we're progressing, you might get to the last set and feel like, I feel good. I'm going to try this.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait to do it on the first set, but ideally we want to see either a taper down or a maintenance for all 3 sets at the same load.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. And I think another question that's just a really simple one is, I guess I'd say the importance of progressive overload and stimulating the muscle.
Mm-hmm.
How does that, to you, how could you explain in terms of why the muscle needs that stimulus?
Yeah, well, in simple terms, and this applies to muscle building and anything in life, if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same outcome, right? But if you keep challenging your body and your muscles and you're putting them under more and more tension, more and more stress, well, then you're going to get a different outcome. You're going to build more muscle and more strength.
Yep.
Yeah.
Your body needs to adapt.
That's it. Yeah. And if we keep doing the same thing, you're not giving your muscles any reason to grow.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Nice one. Is there anything else that you sort of wanted to add or in terms of progressive overload?
Probably like outside of doing more weight and more reps, you can progress with tempo or the quality of reps and set.
Yeah.
So say for an example, you're doing a hack squat and you do 100 kilos.
Yeah.
You do one set with really good form. You do one set with shitty form.
Yeah.
There's going to be a difference between those two sets, right?
Yeah.
So, you have to make sure as you're progressing and progressively overloading, you have to make sure that your form is really good and your tempo's on point as well. And if it's not, then stay on that weight until it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a progression in itself without lifting any more load at all.
Yeah, so there's so many ways to challenge yourself in the gym, and even would you say like rest times is another one?
Yeah, yep, 100%. Like if you have to rest for 5 minutes in between your hack squat sets, and then over time you can become more efficient, and then do the same weight with 4 minutes rest, 3 minutes rest. That's a good progressive overload as well.
Yeah, totally. And even like, the changes, the smallest changes can make the biggest difference over, let's say, the 10 to 15 reps, 6 to 8 reps, whatever it is. Like I was cueing someone today that was doing dumbbell step-ups. We're trying to do a more quad focus thing. And he tends to swing a little bit, so he uses his momentum. And I say we need to go knee over toes, but what he does is he swings his knee over toes and then pushes up off of his opposite foot. So it's little things where I say, all right, I let him finish. I don't stop him halfway through. Just let them, well, in my eyes, I let them just go through. Then for the second set or whatever it is, we strip it back and then we say, all right, control on the way down. Then we stop, we reset. And even that little change just made it so much more difficult for him, and he felt it so much more in the quads where we wanted him to feel it, rather than feeling it in his left Achilles and his arse.
Yeah.
So, even those little things to do with that. But, what would you say with tempo and things like that? What is a common thing that you sort of come across?
Oh, look, I think people worry a lot about just lifting the weight, but they don't really think about what is between A to Z.
Right.
So, dumbbell bench press, you think about, all right, weights at the top, comes down, comes back up. So, okay, like, yes, but how fast should you go on the way down? Should there be a pause? How fast should you come on the way up? And this can manipulate an entire exercise, right?
Yeah.
So, like a common one I like to do is I like to pause at the top of a hip thrust, because that's when the glutes are under the most load. They're in a shortened position. So I like to put like a little 2 to 3 second pause.
Yeah.
If you didn't have a tempo, people wouldn't pause at the top.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Or something like a dumbbell bench press, for an example, controlling on the way down. So you can actually program that and write that in so that people can control the weight on the way down and then have a explosive concentric movement. Yeah.
And to break that down for the listeners at home, you have sort of 4 sections to a tempo.
Yeah.
You'll have your eccentric phase, which is the muscle at length, at its longest position or at its stretched position. So let's say for anyone who's actually watching the podcast, let's say you're doing a bicep curl, your bicep is at its eccentric position here where it's on a stretch, and the concentric movement is coming back up, eccentric is back down. So you'll start with your eccentric, let's say for a dumbbell bench press is 2 seconds when we're coming back down towards our chest. The pause or the second stage is a 0, 1, whatever it is, probably not for a chest press.
Yeah, it's a movement at the bottom.
At the bottom or whatever you're doing at the bottom. Your concentric is the muscle shortening, contracting, and pushing the weight in whichever direction, and then you might have a second pause at the top.
Yep.
So that's pretty much, so eccentric pause, concentric pause.
Yep. And for explaining that like I'm 5 years old now,
yes.
On the way down, the pause, and on the way up, pause.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you ever have it explained to you how I just said it,
yeah,
which is what some people can do, that's just breaking it down a little bit more.
Yeah.
But and you can use that in so many different ways, like with that hip thrust, like you were saying, and a lot of people will do it in core exercises, I guess,
Yep.
as well with pauses, can really start to burn the abs and different things like that. But yeah, for me at the moment, I don't do many pauses, but that's just it's always dependent.
Yeah, very dependent on the individual and what their specific goals are. You know, for what I program in for you, typically we'll do like a 2-second eccentric followed by a 1-second concentric on most movements.
Yeah.
Bar probably like an RDL.
RDLs, hyper
Like,
extensions, whatever it is.
Back extensions, you probably do like a 3-second eccentric on the way down.
That just gives me time to get to full stretch. And
100%. So
and your muscles are still working under that downwards load, the eccentric load. They're still working to slow you down.
Yep.
And to keep you sort of stable through there as well. So that's why your eccentric, you're controlling your reps is so important. One, it keeps you safe from hurting yourself. Because if we're just trying to smash things out, it's just the faster you come down with any type of movement. If you come down super fast on a bench press or a dumbbell bench press, you are putting your shoulder through so much pressure, so much strain. It's so much harder. If I was to run at Sam as fast as I could compared to running slower, I'm the same weight, but I'm not going as fast, so I might be a little bit easier to stop. Now, I weigh 95 kilos, so I'm going to be hard to stop no matter what. But the faster we come down with any weight, the harder your muscles are going to have to work to come up. So eccentrically coming back slower is only going to help you on the way up.
Yeah.
Would you say that that's right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct.
So trying to rush through your workouts is going to make it harder, and it's just going to humble you and put you at the perfect starting point anyway.
Yep. Absolutely. And when you're reading your tempo, the number will represent the amount of seconds.
Yes.
So 2 would be, say like a 2011 would be 2 on the way down, 0 pause, 1 on the way up, 1 second pause before you start the next rep.
Yep.
I think a lot of people on a bench press, dumbbell bench press, barbell, whatever it is, they always count that first rep up as one rep. No, we start at the top of the movement. That's where the movement starts. It doesn't start at the bottom. Because
we're still working.
Yeah. You wouldn't count a squat from the bottom position. You would count it from the top.
From the top. Exactly right. That's such a good analogy. I'm stealing that one.
Yeah.
That's a good way to explain it. Yeah, nice. Anything else to add there? Happy with that?
I'm pretty happy with that tempo chat. Hopefully you guys can take something from that.
Hope it was understandable. You could decipher what I was trying to say.
It can get a little bit confusing, but just test it out yourselves. I know there's a million things that you need to think about when you're lifting, like especially when you're training on your own. Like you need to think
100%.
about your form, the tempo, the speed, how many reps you're doing, your breathing. Like there's so much to think about. But breathing's probably another topic.
Breathing. I was about to get into that. Breathing and tempo.
While we're here.
Yes, we're thinking the same thing. Good.
So breathing and bracing's incredibly important.
So important.
So one way to think about it is when you're about to do the effort, so about to do the lift at the top of the movement before you do the eccentric, take a big breath in into the stomach and brace, tense your abdominals like someone's about to punch you in the stomach.
Yep. Great cue. Yeah.
And hold that throughout the entire lift. And then as you come up on either the eccentric or the pause before you start the next rep, exhale and then reset the breath.
Yep.
And then go again.
Yep.
Yeah. So we don't really want to be breathing through the repetitions.
No.
We want to be resetting when we get to the top.
Want to hold that pressure.
Yep. Correct.
Yep. And what tensing your abs does, guys, is it protects your spine. I'd say 70-80% of people who have gone to the gym have buggered their back before.
Yeah.
And it's not always, funnily enough, it's not always when you're doing the movement. It can be when you're putting the fucking weights back or you're picking up your washing basket at home. See you later. But that's what tempo helps with as well. It gives you time to reset your breath breathing through for you beginners, I'd say the intermediates have probably started to figure it out, but for the beginners, breathing is, super, super important. To not underestimate how much strength you can get from proper breathing.
Yeah.
Or how much power you can get. So like Sam said, breathing in, creating that pressure, breathing out, and just getting a nice, consistent breath pattern or breathing pattern will make a huge, huge difference. And just let it come naturally. You will figure it out. Don't force it too much. Don't try and time it with other people. You're your own person. You'll figure out how it works for you. But that general rule, breathing in before we start at the top of that eccentric, and then bracing yourself, breathing out on that concentric or however it works for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And those breathing techniques will feel very foreign. When I'm teaching people initially when they start lifting, they're like, this is so weird. I don't get it.
So you're doing it today.
Yeah. And it's really hard to get your head around. But once you've got it, you'll do it instinctively within your day-to-day life. Like I did it last week. We were moving some furniture around at home and we were picking up a couch, and then I just took a breath in and lifted it up like a deadlift. And then I was like, oh yeah, this is, why we do this stuff.
Yeah, literally.
For your day-to-day, so everything becomes easy and you don't injure yourself when you're just moving a couch.
Oh, mate, don't open the day-to-day can of worms.
Yeah, I know.
With tempo and breathing.
I know, you're right. But the way that I say it with clients is your abdominals and your spine, it's like a cylinder, right? So if half of the cylinder isn't braced or there's a crack in the cylinder, it's going to be very loose. It's not going to be able to be very strong.
Dangerous.
So if you can brace, your abdominals, that will strengthen the cylinder, therefore strengthen your back indirectly.
Yeah. Absolutely. And from a remedial massage therapist's point of view, these little things sound boring and annoying and just like whatever. If you don't do them, you will be humbled one day and you'll be out of the gym for 2 weeks or however long or whatever happens. So the risk versus reward in this situation is just not worth skipping things like this. The little things really start to matter, and you will learn that eventually, either by injuring yourself or by people harping on about it all the time. Then that 2 weeks out of the gym, it's harder to get back into the gym, and everything else in your life just landslides. So super, super important from my point of view as well. I don't want to see you in my room if you're not breathing in and bracing on your squats.
Yeah. And if you are getting to that position where you are more of a intermediate to advanced lifter, then probably look into a weight belt as an accessory.
If it's getting heavy.
Yeah, if it's getting heavy. Or even, there's no like rule of thumb. If you like can squat 100 kilos, you need a belt. It's like everyone's a bit different.
Lifting straps, there's a bunch of different things.
So if you feel like you can't get your head around the bracing, or maybe you need more support, then a lifting belt can create even more abdominal pressure by having something for your abdominals to brace against, and therefore, again, creating a stronger cylinder. So this week we had the challenge start, the Shred and Sustain 8-week challenge. We ended up with 16 people joining the challenge, and everyone is killing it so far. So shout out to anyone listening that is a part of the challenge. You're doing really well.
Smashing it, guys.
Keep going.
I'm coming for you.
Yeah, Ben is actually participating in the challenge as well as an accountability coach.
Yeah.
So mate, you got to get your points up.
Oh mate, I'm creeping up there. Don't you worry. I'm hungry.
Yeah, it's good. We got a leaderboard system on my training app, and you accumulate points. It's good. It's motivating.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's motivating me. I didn't think I'd like. I'm like feeling pretty competitive about this. I'm like watching the top players.
So good. Yeah. On the topic of shredding and the challenge, a topic that we're going to go over is how to get shredded, how to get lean, lose body fat without killing your gains.
Yep.
And your strength. Yeah. So when we're in a dieting phase, we're in a calorie deficit.
Mhm.
And, I think what a lot of people think is when we're in a deficit, we're going to be losing our gains, we're going to be losing our strength. And it's not the case,
Mhm.
Unless you're getting down to bodybuilding spec condition, 5-6%, there might be a little bit of muscle loss there just in order to get conditioned. But
Yep.
for the general person, you'll be fine. But there are a couple of things that you need to do in order to, preserve your muscle and strength when you are in a dieting phase.
Yep.
We've already covered one of the topics today, and that is progressive overload.
Yep.
Now, progressive overload is something that you'll see more when you're in a maintenance or build phase, because you'll have more calories behind you, more energy out, so you'll be able to push more and you'll be able to recover
Just have
faster.
more fuel. Yeah.
More food, more fuel. When you're in a dieting phase, things look a little bit different because you have less energy. Therefore, you won't be able to push as hard, but you still have the same amount of muscle.
Yep.
So you should still be able to push the same amount of weight. Progressive overload might not mean that you're lifting and progressing every single week,
Yeah.
but you'll be able to take some wins here and there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you're a beginner lifter, you'll be able to progressively overload probably through your entire cut.
Yeah. Yep.
If you're an intermediate lifter, you'll probably be able to progress a little bit. If you're an advanced lifter, it'll be very hard.
It'd be tough.
And you're probably going to have to look at it more as a muscle preservation, a strength preservation standpoint.
Yeah, and you're saying sort of with the advanced people, if they've figured out their weights on pretty much everything in terms of, and then it's just you stick to that, and if you can get the slightest bit extra stimulus, and it doesn't have to be, like we said before, by adding weight or anything like that, if we can reduce rest, whatever it might be. But yeah, I get that. And I think I might be in between intermediate and advanced. And a lot of that actually doesn't have to do with what I've figured out for myself, is that it doesn't have to do with my strength. It's more so to do with me not realizing how much more I can do on a specific thing.
Yep.
So earlier I was talking about how it's taken me a while to get past the 37.5, where realistically I probably could have been doing the 40 for my first set for the past couple of weeks. But because the last set is such a struggle, I'm like, nah, I'm chilled. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So these are all things, and I'm like, I'm a couple of years down the track now, but really been into it the past 12 months, and I'm still learning. It's a long process. And I've even, I'm studying it right now, and I'm still learning heaps and heaps and heaps every day. So, so I'd say I'm pretty much there with all of my weights now. It's becoming a huge struggle with most of them just physically. But yeah, switching that mindset has been a big one.
Yep. And think about it this way. If you're an 80 kilo individual and you're doing the 40 kilo dumbbells, and then at the end of the 8-week cut, you weigh in at 75 kilos, and you're still doing the 40 kilo dumbbells, so you've lost 5 kilos, but you're lifting the same.
Yeah.
That's a good progressive overload.
That's
you
unreal.
weigh less.
Yeah. And you're still pushing.
And you're still pushing the same weight.
Yeah.
Think about it like that in that aspect, right? Another thing to think about is sticking to a high protein diet.
Yeah.
As well. That will definitely hang on to a lot of strength and muscle when you are in a dieting phase. We need to give the muscles the fuel and recovery that it needs.
Yeah. And nothing does that like a good amount of protein.
That's it. Yep. Yeah. So sticking to around about when you're in a dieting phase, you can go a little bit higher with your protein intake.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to keep my clients around the 2 to 2.2 times their body weight in kilos.
Yep.
If they are someone that is quite, overweight, then we might scale that back so that they're not having to eat, hundreds of grams of protein.
Yeah, because their calories are obviously going to be up because
Yeah.
of their body weight. Yeah.
That's it. So you can also, base it off of their goal weight in the end.
Sure.
But making sure that you're getting, decent, highly bioavailable sources of protein and, getting that within a decent window around your training. We covered that on the last topic around the anabolic window. You don't have to be rushing home to get your protein shake in, but it's probably in your best interest to have, a high protein feeding meal a couple of hours after your workout. But what matters the most is your total calories and protein intake throughout the entire day.
Yeah, absolutely. And even like your quicker sources of carbs as well, and that nutrition during your cut, like the timing of your nutrition pre-workout as well, will
Super
just
important.
yeah, absolutely. And it might not give you the active feeling, but passively it's doing what it needs to do to help you with your workout. And that's where all your different 1%ers come in, like your creatine and all that type of stuff. If that works for you, like it works for me.
Yeah.
I'm smack bang in the fucking middle of a cut right now. And personally think like the game's changed since the last time I did a cut where I was just cutting fucking everything. Like protein, there was nothing. There was like no food coming in or out. I was just cutting. And I looked extremely malnourished.
Yeah, that's it.
And yeah, just looking totally different now and seeing the value in pre-post nutrition, things like that. So that's really helped me maintain my strength and even improve on my strength as I've continued to go through.
Yeah. Another really simple way to maintain your strength and gains during a cut is just don't cut too quickly.
Mm.
Don't create a too aggressive deficit.
Yeah.
There needs to be a level of deficit,
Yeah.
of course, if you are in a fat loss phase. And the way that you do this is you calculate what your total daily energy expenditure is and then create the deficit from there.
Yep.
But a good starting point for most people is
I was about to ask.
around about a 20% deficit.
Yeah.
So that's a really good starting point. More of the aggressive path would be around 30%. I probably wouldn't go too much further than 30% deficit for most individuals because things start to get pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But there are outliers there, like, someone that is a little bit more overweight, you probably are going to need to go that far. And someone that is already lean, you can probably get away with 10, 15, 20% at most. Yeah, definitely. And the important thing, maintaining your strength and your motivation and your mindset during your cut is you will, like Sam was saying, if you try and go very aggressive for a longer amount of time, like let's say your trainer sets you out at 1800 and you're like, I'll do less. And you go to 1600, 1650, whatever it is, you might not realize the differences, but people around you will. You'll start to become a little bit more lethargic or a bit more moody, a bit angrier. Sleep might be difficult because you're very hungry, things like that. Strength will, strength will dissipate, and you have to give up things like your protein at that stage. And that's why, a 20% cut, you can still keep your protein quite high. Yeah. And enough. But yeah, if we're pushing it beyond that, like some bodybuilders do and people like that, then your strength starts to go, your muscle growth will stop and start to potentially disintegrate as well. Yeah, for sure. So, moderate deficit is good. You're going to have to dig at some stage. Like you're in a deficit. You can't just go, 5% deficit, should be right. Like you're going to have to dig and you're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be hungry. So just look out for that, but make sure you leave enough room to move basically. So that, if you start at 20%, you know that you can go to 30% when the body adapts.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because the body is very smart. You put yourself in a deficit, well, guess what? Your body's going to adapt over time to that deficit. And that 20% deficit is going to become your maintenance calories at some point.
Yeah. And it all is a bit of a trial and error, isn't it? Like, it's all sort of an approximate calculation. Nothing is exact because it's a couple of numbers. There's a lot of different underlying factors there. So you just play around with it for, let's say, 2 weeks, keep jumping on the scales and see how you go and readjust from there.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Cool. What do we got?
Actually, just one more
Yeah.
thing on that. Just with like your exercise choices as well, when you are in a shred phase, like, and you're getting quite lean, you might feel that some of the more free weight based exercises are starting to feel a little bit more unstable and uncomfortable. So transitioning to more stable machine based exercises towards the end of a cut can be something that you can do as well.
Yep.
So say for an example, moving from a dumbbell bench press to a chest press machine, plate loaded or pin loaded.
Smith machine.
Like, you're still getting the same stimulus, but you're getting more support. So that in return gives you more stability so that you can still progressive overload or train at a close proximity to failure, just a little bit safer.
Just takes out the outliers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
For sure. Because I get that. Like, when I get lean, like my joints sort of around like my wrist and my elbow and my shoulders, like, just feels
Bit
really average.
Bit more shaky.
Yeah. But the machine gives me that extra support.
Yeah. And even, wrists, wrists is definitely one for me because of my job and just because of one of the injuries that I've had recently where, those little things, like even just lift, like the straps around your wrist, things like that, just help to get that extra rep or two.
Yep. Absolutely, mate. Anything else there?
Nah. Covered it, bros.
Nice. We're going to move on to gym etiquette.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we're gym owners, as you know. We're not saying this from a place of form first, because we educate people to do the right thing, and all of our trainers and members are great at this. But just as we are leading into the warmer months, obviously a lot more people are starting to join the gyms. There might be newbies, and if you've been training for a little while, it can be quite frustrating with these newbies coming into the gym that might not have an idea. But just remember that we all start somewhere, right? You know, old mate over there who, is on his phone, he might be actually looking up how to actually do the exercise and he's too nervous to ask anyone, right? Yeah. So we're just going to go over some gym etiquette that you guys can potentially take away for your own training. And I think it's just good to remind ourselves every now and then too. Yep. So as it gets warmer, wiping down your machines. Simple.
Yeah.
Very simple one. We have wipes here at Form First. Every gym has them. Just wiping it down, using a gym towel.
Get yourself a gym towel.
Yep.
Yeah. There are some cool ones out there.
Yeah.
You start collecting them.
Yeah. I've got one that actually has like a little hood on it, and it hooks around the bench so that it doesn't slip off. That's a game
changer.
It's awesome.
I'm sliding all over my chair at the moment.
Yeah, I actually don't know where it is, so
no.
Maybe we're going to have to brand some of that.
Yeah.
Watch this space.
Yeah. Beach towels, nah.
That's it. Another one is just putting away your weights. Putting your dumbbells back. Putting your weight plates back and putting them in the right spot as well. Very important. If there's a little weight tree and the hook says 15 kilos, put your 15 kilos on there. It's pretty simple stuff.
Yeah, especially some gyms don't have color coded weights. So got to make it easier for everyone else. Like if you fucking get frustrated because you can't find your 2.5 kilo weight because it's, over at the bloody resistance band rack.
Yeah.
Don't be that person.
Yeah, for sure.
For everything. And I mean, we all start somewhere. We probably all got humbled by somebody at one point because we were putting shit in the wrong place, leaving it on the floor. Oh my God, I'll kill you.
Yeah, it's the worst.
That's the worst.
Yeah, and same goes with like benches, in my opinion, and attachments. Like put those back too. Like if you use a bench and you have to move it over to the cables, put it back next to the dumbbells again where you found it. And same goes with like tricep extensions, stuff like that. Like I personally, I'm a bit anal with that. I put it back
Me too.
because, you know, I hate to go up to a machine and be like, oh, I need to take all these attachments off, put my own on, put them back where I found them. So yeah, I would say put things back where you found them.
Yeah, last thing you want to do when you're gassed is take off someone else's weights
Yeah.
and gas yourself even more.
You write that down as a working set.
Yeah,
taking
pretty
off the
much.
equipment and putting it back again.
Yeah, bloody oath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be on your phone too much as well. Like, I know it's hard and you've got your rest times to adhere to, but like, don't be that person that just scrolls on TikTok for 10 minutes
while sitting on the
set. Like, if you've got a 3-minute rest, like, yeah, sure, whatever, but like, don't blow that out and scroll. And if someone comes up and asks you to work in with them.
Stand up and walk around on your phone.
If someone says, hey mate, how many more sets have you got? I've got 3 more. I only just started, but you can work in with me.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All good.
That's great. You know?
Yeah.
So that you're not having to completely change your order around.
Yeah.
Most people are completely fine to work in with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And if they're not, they're the problem.
Big time.
And you can say Sam and Ben said so.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where, you know, it leads back into a gym towel. If you want to work in with someone and you're worried about their sweating, put your gym towel on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a game changer.
For sure. Filming in the gym has become something that
huge
is massive. Like if you're a coach or a fitness influencer or documenting your journey or maybe even just sending a form video to your coach.
Yeah.
Very popular these days. So, you know, I'm all for it, but you need to be very courteous of other people in the surroundings.
Yeah.
If someone's in the background, I mean, first things first, try not to get anyone in the background.
Yeah, as best you can.
That's your number one. And if you can't, if it's a really busy gym, probably don't film there. But if you really have to, go up to the people that are in the background and say, hey, I'm just filming this. Are you okay if you're in the background?
Yeah.
Ask for their consent.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Especially, and I guess limit it to, you know, if you can, not their face.
Yeah.
If you can keep people's faces out of it as well. But yeah, always having to let them know. And, you know, be on the defensive side of things. If you're going to film, expect that people need to get to weights.
Yeah.
They need to traverse the gym just like you do. And if they get in your video, that's not their fault.
Yeah.
You put the freaking camera there.
Yeah.
You decided to go filming. People don't have to work around you. You have to work around other people.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Absolutely.
there just to get their gains just like you.
Yep. 100%. Go train at a time that's quiet or go train at a private gym where, you know, like Form First, where, you know, we have a lot of trainers that film their content here. And you can come in when it's nice and quiet and film.
Yeah. And we own, you going around like you own the gym. We own a gym.
Yeah.
And we don't do that. It's just we work around other people because we want people to feel comfortable. If you want to feel comfortable in a gym, make other people feel comfortable. I swear to God, the good karma will come around.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. You don't want to end up on Joey Swole's
oh my God, he's so funny
page with with the call out videos. You being in the background, this person stared at my ass, yada yada. It's you don't want to be that person. But
no.
Yeah, people are just usually pretty shocked to be like, oh shit, there's a tripod facing at me. I don't know where this is looking.
And it makes them feel uncomfortable.
For sure.
Big time.
Definitely. And just lastly, if you do see a beginner cruising around the gym looking a little bit clueless and you are someone that knows a little bit about training, you don't have to be a trainer yourselves, but help them out. Hey mate, what are you looking for?
Yeah.
Can I help you? Oh, you're using that a little bit incorrectly. Let me show you how to use it correctly. Definitely don't be that person that if someone's doing a squat incorrectly, you're just, you know, discreetly filming them and laughing at them. We all start somewhere, and if you can give someone
squat's a hard movement.
Yeah, if you can give someone a little pointer
Hmm.
and lift them up and help them, they'll continue on with their journey. But if you're over there laughing at them, they're not going to come back.
Yeah, think about when you started and how bad you wanted or needed
Yeah.
a little bit of guidance. Even if people don't know how to operate through a gym, just give them a couple quick pointers like we have today, like, not sitting too close to the dumbbell rack when you're lifting weights, because other people need to get to the dumbbell rack. So it's just little things like that people genuinely need help with. As like small and silly as it sounds, it's a real thing.
Yeah, well, it's common sense for us that have been lifting for a long time, but it's not common sense to someone who's just starting the gym and it's a very foreign
Who
area.
can't find the fucking toilet in the place.
Yeah,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Nice, mate. Anything else to add there?
Nah, smashed it.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for tuning in for what was episode
8.
Yeah. Ooh, almost double digits.
Watch out.
Nice one,
Not
mate.
stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks, guys, and we will see you on the next episode.
Ciao, ciao. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.